Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and today I have a fun fold card to share with you using Kit 74. This kit came out last summer and it has coffee, tea, hot chocolate, and donuts all in the same kit. This is just a little sampling of what's in here. I wanted to show you the pink polka dot paper that we're using, but there are definitely strong coffee and donut imagery throughout. Here's the card we're gonna make. The real technique in this is A, of course, the fun fold, but B, I was gonna show you a card that very neatly fit into the A2 envelope. And you can do that with the measurements I give you, but sometimes I don't wanna keep it neat and tidy. Sometimes, even when it's a simple card like this one, I wanna have things hanging off the edges and create visual balance, and that will sometimes require its own envelope. So I'm gonna show you how to do that too. I'm using the Cafe Colorize from Sizzix. I do have a custom coupon code for Sizzix. If you shop at their store, if you use SASSY20, you'll save 20% off site-wide every day. But this is one I've had for a long time. It is a layered set that creates this sort of to-go coffee cup, but there's also a little teacup coffee cup. It's cute, you guys, it's super cute. And I just cut out all the pieces from varying shades of brown. So I'm gonna layer this up, and I wanted to add one solid embellishment that was layered die cuts. I just love the texture and feel of it. To me, that steps up any card. And this didn't take very long to put together, maybe 5 minutes, right? And I just kind of followed all of the samples that were on the website to see where the different pieces went. There are some thinner pieces that go at the top of the cup. I love the definition they give to this, but instead of trying to get glue all over the backs of them, I'm just tapping them into a little squiggle of glue I have on my little silicone mat here. And that way I can place them onto my coffee cup, and it's low mess, really quick and easy. You could also turn them into stickers with a double-sided adhesive. For my sentiment, we're gonna use this layered labels. This one that has the sort of polka dot border, if you will, is perfect for putting our 2-inch sentiment mat for our circles on there. So I'm gonna set those pieces aside and we'll work on our fun fold. I have 3 pieces of cardstock that are 4 inches by 4 inches and pattern paper that are 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I need to score the solid colored cardstock down the middle. And so you could just line them up on a single track in your scoreboard if you don't have this Sizzix scoring board and trimmer, and that would work. But I do have this scoring board and trimmer. I think it's super cool. And it's got this ruler that you can put at different angles. And so I've just sort of put it 3 clicks down. It's at 45 degrees. And then I don't have to use the black line that's in my scoring board. I can just find the line that's at the point, and I know it will work. For these pieces, they're 1/4 inch smaller than our solid colored cardstock, and I want to cut them down the middle diagonally, but I want to drop the blade into the middle of the paper. So I'm lining up the points on the track of my trimmer, and then I'll just go ahead and drop the blade down into the middle so I don't bang up the corners or flatten them or crunch them up as I'm going to slice that in half. For each of these solid pieces, I'm folding on that score line and I'm burnishing really well with my bone folder. I'm double checking my edges. Sometimes I'm off just a little bit, and that just has to do with where I lined it up on the track. But I'll flatten these out. And to demonstrate, I have one in the middle that I've sort of oriented like a diamond. And then when I put the other 2 on there, I want those going out like a triangle, okay? But I also want the one on the left to be in the back, the one in the middle to be in the middle, and the one on the right to be on the top. You don't have to do it that way, but to me, it looks a little better when it's finished if you do it that way. So you have the same small triangle that you can see in the bottom left here, in the same spot on each side. So then I've got, again, this last piece is gonna go on top. I have just used a little pencil to mark where that overlaps so I know where to put my glue. And then I'm wrapping that score line and fold around the diamond oriented piece so that I know I will be able to fold this flat and fit it into my envelope. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my eraser now and just remove those little pencil marks. But this is, I mean, so much easier than I first thought. I think the first time I made a card like this was probably 15 years ago. And I forget how easy it is. And I thought it was a really great opportunity to pull out a kit that I had already printed, that'd been sitting around, and do something really fun and different with it. So this is gonna give me just a tiny little border all the way around. It's even like a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch there. And I am sort of paying attention to whether or not these two pieces line up, but not that much. By the time you've got it folded, it's sometimes called a teepee card, sometimes called a tent card, sometimes called a pyramid card. By the time you have it sort of all folded and stuck together, you don't really notice if the two sides match up perfectly. I will say a non-directional pattern works much better for this because they don't end up perfectly sideways or perfectly sort of portrait oriented. It's almost at an angle by the time you're done. So here I'm going to wrap everything around, and I know that this is the corner that's going to be on top. So on the back of it, I'm just marking it with my pencil to remind myself. And I'm going to use some Velcro dots to hold this together. That way I can un-teepee it and fold it flat into my envelope, but then it can be easily assembled when it gets sent in the mail. So I have a clear side and a white fuzzy side. I like the clear side on the pattern paper and the fuzzy side on the solid colored cardstock. I just feel like I don't want to interrupt that polka dot pattern with my Velcro. And so the clear side on the pattern for me. I wanted to show you how to fill in these two little corners if you want to. I actually kind of like it better without this, but it's a 1.5 inch square that I cut diagonally, and that will perfectly fill in those little gaps there. If it's something that bothers you, you could do a different pattern there. You'll notice I swapped out one of my pattern paper pieces with a piece of white cardstock, so I have a place to write my little greeting. You could stamp a message there as well. So I'm looking for the flat side that has pattern paper and doesn't have my Velcro. That's the focal panel where I want to decorate everything. And you can see right now, this fits in my card. What I have to do is make sure anything I decorate with doesn't cross the center score line. And then you can do whatever you want to this. Mine is going to cross the center score line, so I'll show you how we work around that. I'm adding my little coffee cup to my label here, and I'm just going to adhere that on there, and then on that left side, that's our center score line. I'm adding glue only into the middle, and I like to decorate this while it's in its three-dimensional form to make sure that I don't accidentally glue something shut or flat that I don't want flat. And then here are some of our coffee sentiments. We're going to use wishing you a highly caffeinated birthday, but they're such great ones. No coffee, no talkie. Thanks for being so great. Like, it's just really fun and punny and playful. I don't drink coffee, but I love paper coffee everything. And I kind of want to do another coffee kit already. It's only been a year since I made this one. I'm using removable adhesive in case down the line I decide I want to make this a thank you card instead of a birthday card. My sentiments always come in the same interchangeable sizes, but my friends, the card portion of this is done. So if I flatten everything out, it's not going to fit in the A2 envelope. So I'm bringing in the envelope table. And what I'm going to do is put my card in the corner, that bottom left corner, and I'm going to find the box that is closest to fitting. Now this one's a little weird because you can kind of maneuver things. It can be a little smaller than really what the table says because I don't need a full side here. But there are two numbers in each of those boxes. The top number that's bolder is the size of the paper that you need, and the bottom number is for alignment, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the paper size for this one is 8 5/16, which is really like 8 1/4. So I went ahead and cut this into an 8 1/4 inch square. There are 16th inch marks on that ruler, but then I need to push that ruler out to the left and bring it 3 notches down to that 45-degree angle. And you'll notice on the ruler there are 2 marks, one that says score and one that says align. The first time we align this, we want to use the bottom number from the table. It was 7 11/16, which is really like 7 3/4, right? That's close enough. And I'm gonna line it up on that mark on the ruler and then score it following the arrow from that score line. When I rotate, I'm gonna line up the score line I just made on the align guide and then score using the score mark. And then I'll keep doing the same thing. I'm making a little pencil mark just to help myself see. It's a really busy pattern. So the pencil mark lines up with that alignment guide, and then I just run my bone folder down on the score line. Then I can put all of that away and flip everything around. There's a little notch here for cutting out the envelope and another one for rounding your corners. And I apologize, my friends, there isn't a lot of room above my desk. And so it's pushed a little further down than I might like for you. I will say punches like this scare me. I have arthritis really badly in my right hand, but I was able to press this fairly easily with the palm of my hand. I probably wouldn't try to press it with my thumbs, but that's just, my hands aren't great. When I was pressing with my left hand that does not have arthritis, I had zero issues at all. So just, I think, of note, I know a lot of you know that I have arthritis and you sort of look to me for more information about that if you're going to invest in a tool or something like this. I was able to use this tool fairly effectively despite my arthritis. And then I'm just going to fold on all those score lines, and I'm going to add glue to the bottom edges of the short panels and fold up the bottom. And that sort of puts my whole envelope together, right? And you can see it's going to fit in there beautifully. I'm going to rotate it around so you can see. There's actually quite a bit of room, it looks like, at the top, because all I really have is that one die cut, but that's why it wouldn't have fit in an A2 envelope. So one more look at it coming out of the envelope. I love the reveal coming out of the envelope, especially if I made it myself. And then it easily just wraps around and Velcros together. It stands up on display. I'm going to make a bunch of these little pyramid cards for coworkers with snarky sentiments. I just think it's going to be hilarious in the office. So my friends, I hope that this was fun for you. I hope you learned something new today. I will link below to get back to Kit 74 if you want all the information about how to download that, and I'll include all the measurements in the Patreon post. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.